Hi, I'm Kim with Consumer Crafts. Today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on arm knitting, which is an easy, quick way to make a beautiful scarf like this. Best of all, you don't need any prior knitting experience, and you also don't need any special tools. To begin, select your yarns. I like to use a combination of textures, and you can even work in some ruffle or ribbon yarns. Keep in mind that the thicker your yarn, the faster your scarf will work up. If you're using multiple strands like this, it's often easier to roll them into a ball together ahead of time. This will help to keep your skeins from getting tangled. The first thing you'll need to do is to measure out a tail. You'll need at least 4 feet. And if you're a beginner and you want a little extra room, you can add a little bit at the end as well. Start by tying an overhand knot, make a loop, and then pull the yarn through the loop. You'll hook this over your right wrist and make sure that you give yourself some room that you can slip it over your wrist easily. And now we're going to actually start casting on. You're going to take your tail and kind of keep it near you. The other yarn here is called your working yarn. This is what's attached to the skeins. Take your working yarn and slip it over your index finger, under your next 2 fingers, and over your pinky. This will help you to keep a good tension on the yarn. With your thumb, hook your tail, and this will create a little loop. You'll be able to come up with your right hand through that loop, grab your working yarn, and pull it through, slipping it over your wrist as you go. And that is how you cast on a stitch. Again, with your working yarn, grab your tail, come up through the loop, grab your working yarn, slip it onto your wrist. I always kind of have to adjust the tail yarn as I go, and that's fine. And for this scarf, we're going to cast on a total of 5 stitches. So I'm going to do the other 2 really quickly. Okay, and then now we have all 5 of our stitches cast on. To create your first row, with your right hand, grab your working yarn, and you're going to just pull it through your first stitch and loop it over your left hand. Again, grab your working yarn, pull it through, loop it over. And you're just going to continue to do that. Grab the working yarn, pull it through, loop it over, pull it through, and loop it over. And it's that easy. We just created our first row of stitches. At this point too, I should have told you, you can just take your tail and kind of tuck it off to the side because you're not going to need it, and just kind of keep it out of the way. And you're going to use the same process with your left hand to pull through and transfer all your stitches over to your right. You want to make sure that you always have the same number of stitches. You're always going to have 5 stitches. I have 4 on my left hand now and 1 on my right hand. So as long as you continue with the same number of stitches and don't drop any, you are good to go. You'll get a lot faster the longer that you do this. It'll become easier and it'll go a lot more quickly. This is a great project to do while you're sitting and watching television, talking on the phone. And you don't need to worry too much about your stitches being too even. Part of the charm of this look is that it's a little chunky, a little textured, so. Once your scarf is the length you want it to be, it's time to cast off. To cast off, you'll start by doing 2 stitches in a new row, just the same way you've been doing. And then we are going to take the stitch that's higher up on your arm and we're just going to drop it right over our wrist. So now we're down to 4 stitches. We're going to continue this process, doing a new stitch dropping the older one, doing a new stitch, dropping the older one. And what this is going to do is this is going to give you a nice finished edge on your scarf. And then at this point, you can take your yarn, cut it off, and then you're going to just pull this through. And it's very important to pull through from the loop, don't pull the tail, pull through the loop, and then I'll give you a secure finish. Then at this point, you can just take your tail and weave it back through the scarf. If you wanted to, you could actually take the tails on both ends, weave them through the opposite sides and make a long infinity loop. There's a lot of different options, and it just depends on what look you're going for. And that's as easy and quick as it is to finish an arm knit scarf. Arm knitting makes it easy to create a beautiful scarf like this in as little as 10 to 15 minutes. For all of your yarn and craft supply needs, visit consumercrafts.com. And for more great tutorials, check out our blog at craftsunleashed.com. Thank you for watching.